Now, here's a quick one about a guy, husband and father, who, in my opinion, really handles things like a boss when he finds out that his wife of 20 years is cheating on him. And what do I mean by boss? I mean basically handling things in a way that she never got any alimony. Now, some people will say what he does is criminal. I'll let you guys decide that. And by the way, the whole comment section is divided. People thinking that he handled the things like a boss, and other people saying he's the big giant villain in this story. Title: Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay alimony to my cheating ex-wife? And a shout out to Joseph for sending this story. And by the way, guys, this is an older story, but it was sent over to me, and it's so good, I wanted to cover it. I never covered this in the other channels before, so I thought it was definitely worth 10 minutes of our time here. He says, I met my wife in my early 30s. She was in her mid-20s at the time. I was already well established and made a significant amount of money working as a quant and investing my savings diligently. She, on the other hand, had never gone to college and was content working for basically minimum wage. Right there. He's making damn good money. He's established himself. He's going after a girl 10 years younger than him. She's making a job making minimum wage, no ambitions to do better in life. But you know what? Obviously, because she was good looking and charming and there was something about her, he didn't care. Do you think any woman ever would go after a guy and that was making minimum wage, even if he was good looking and charming and never? This goes to show you, and I make the point as clear as day, that when women think they have all these things to offer because they make a lot of money and have 19 college degrees and they're high position, their company and all that guys don't care. We care about, is she pretty, is she feminine, is she loyal, is she loving, all these type of things. Right there. So when I met her, we clicked instantly, and I fell head over heels for her. Smack! Dude, is this the first woman you ever met? We got married and moved in together. Smack! I'm sure that was probably real quick, too. And soon after, we had 3 kids. When we were expecting our firstborn, she had told me that she, pay attention guys, she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Obviously, I was jealous, but I went along with it since it seemed logical. Well, dude, what else is she going to do? Go back to working minimum wage and your kid goes in daycare while you're making a ton of money? In this situation, it made sense. But she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That sounds like permanently. It'd be one thing if it was for a few years, but she wanted to do this permanently. Let's make this clear. So she spends the next 20 years as a stay-at-home mom taking care of our kids while I work 12-hour days and then some. I'm not demeaning stay-at-home moms, by the way, but in the context of our marriage, she had an extremely easygoing lifestyle. Well, I would say the beginning, when they were babies or very little kids and crying and diapers and all this, it was hard. I mean, come on here. Juggling 3 little kids where you could have one that's 4, one that's 2, one that's 9 months old. And that I'm going to be fair here. That's a lot of fucking work. And you guys have little kids know darn well about that. But afterwards, when maybe they started going to school all day and they got older, then that's different. So I agree with the last part of it. A couple of years ago, I discovered that she has been cheating on me with her friend's husband. Divorce obviously followed. So not only is she cheating on you, but with her friend's husband. What does it say about her character? On multiple fronts. So the only major asset we had was the house in the United States, was our house, which was a premarital asset. We had a shared bank account, but since I'm a finance guy, I handled all of our investments. And for tax reasons, invested it abroad in my home country. Oh, how interesting. Now, if we had just grown apart, or she said she was unhappy, I'd have no problem paying what's fair. But the fact that she cheated on me is what makes me resent paying her a cent. Well, let's remember, before anybody starts saying that, she stayed at home all those years, so he owes her something, blah, blah. She's the one who wanted to be the stay-at-home mom. You all heard that. So in the divorce, she is awarded half of our investments that were made during the marriage, 90% of which are abroad in my name, along with alimony for 20 years for 30% of my pay. Did you hear all this that she's going to get, and she's the one that ruined the marriage? Yeah, that ain't cool. However, so here I am given an opportunity to get out of this entirely by moving back to my home country and never looking back. So I sell our house as fast as possible, move the money abroad, and move back to my home country while stringing her along about why it's taking so long to liquidate our savings. Once abroad, I immediately stop alimony payments. Ho, ho, ho. Now you guys are probably thinking, he has kids. Well, it sounds like they're all legal adults at this point. And obviously he's going to maintain contact with them, but he's not being around her. Now she has no legal recourse. I've double checked with my lawyers and is left with her share of the small amount that we had in the States. The reason I'm asking here is that my own children are split on this. My son is 100% on my side. Imagine that. While my daughters are 90% on their mother's side. I figure it'd be interesting to see opinions of people here. Now, before I get into some of the comments, the comment section is split. Half the people saying he did the right thing, and the other part saying he's the freaking devil incarnate. In my opinion, I'm not one of those people that are going to say he's the devil incarnate. She got what she freaking deserved, okay? End of story. She chose to be the stay-at-home mom. So everybody says he held her back from any earnings potential or anything like that. She chose to do that. He said flat out, if she told him that just simply the love faded and things just aren't working out, and they divorced, then he would have been like, okay, fine. He would have given her the money. But she cheated on him. Lord knows how long. Could have been 20 years. You never know. Maybe those kids aren't his. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. So he was done with her, and he was not giving her shit. In my opinion, I don't care. Now, obviously, if the kids were small, they would get child support, but that's a different thing. And, of course, he would have to give that kids child support. But it sounds like those kids will be fine. He'll take care of those kids, but he got the hell out of the country. And so it's quite entertaining. I say he handled things like a boss. Now, here's some of the comments. One guy says, not the a-hole. She cheated. She doesn't deserve a cent from you. If you had to pay child support, I would say different because child support money is supposed to go towards the kids. But since it's just alimony, F her. She went and cheated rather than talking to you about what she was unhappy about or whatever. So I definitely say you're not the a-hole. And I agree. Obviously, he's going to help his kids because he's got money. This one is from a woman. She says, you are the a-hole. Coming from someone who works in family law, I can promise you that if you do that, you're in for a world of hurt. You'd be surprised at how many times I walked into court in the morning to find out that one of the parties in a divorce or custody case has flown internationally to attend their court date. Doesn't matter if you flee, if there's a will, there's a way. Do you really think that abandoning your children forever to avoid alimony is a good idea? Sounds like a real selfish prick move. If you work in family law, you know there's a difference between alimony and child support. They're two different things. Alimony is for the wife to live on. Child support is for the kids. He's obviously not going to bail on the kids. I think they're all legal adults. He's going to take care of them. He's just getting out of the alimony for her. Also, if you think that fleeing, you're suddenly relieved of your court-ordered alimony payments, you're seriously in for a rude awakening. She'll just file motions for contempt. The judge will issue purge orders, etc., etc. You really want to be incarcerated for ignoring a clear court order and still have to pay everything that you owe on top of that. Well, who knows? But I think it may depend on what country he's now living in and how that whole thing went down, you know? Another one, not the a-hole. People are talking about how she was a stay-at-home mom and that's why she's entitled to his money. Is the wrong answer. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That was her choice. She requested it. The OP supported it. The way OP talks, it seems like they were pretty well off and that OP really knows how to handle money, so childcare wouldn't have been a problem. In my mind, the ex-wife cheated and forego the alimony payments because of this. Why should he continue to support a cheater for 20 more years when he's trying to wash his hands of her? Cut that cancer out of his life and move on. And he says, to all the people saying she raised your kids are also wrong. It's their kids, not just his. Right. He would partake in raising the kids, and they're their kids, not her kids or his kids or something like that. And one more. Not the a-hole. Just because it's the law doesn't mean it's right. She actively had an affair and sabotaged a relationship. Fuck her if she thinks that she's entitled to your money. OP, good on you for not letting her get what she doesn't deserve. Right, exactly. A lot of laws throughout human history, and certainly laws in the US of A, they may have been the laws on the books, but they certainly weren't right. And I'm sure you look at history, many people would agree on various laws that were laws of the land that eventually were abolished. But anyhow, so there you go, guys. I think he handled it like a boss, and I'd like to know what country I have to wonder if it was like a non-extradition country or something like that, but who knows? So, and I gotta wonder, by the way, guys, if the situation was reversed, would any of these same people have a problem with her if she left the country and did the same thing to him? I'd like to know about that. Anyway, there you go.